keeps on rocking on the stage show, and as you can tell, we are in the home stretch now. It's live, stage 1 action from E3 2013. I'm your host, Chris Waters, taking it home with 2 more demos. The first one, The Walking Dead 400 Days. Joining me on stage is Harrison Pink, the designer on the game. Harrison, here we are, the end of E3 approaches, but we can't leave E3 without talking about The Walking Dead.
I'm glad you brought me in here.
Put the mic a little closer.
Yeah, how's this?
Yeah, you're going
right.
to hear yourself through that.
There we go.
Oh,
Much better.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right. The Walking Dead, enormously successful, critically acclaimed, episodic success for you guys at Telltale.
Totally.
Pretty fantastic. And Season 2 is on the way.
Yes, Season 2 is coming soon.
Coming soon.
Soon.
But coming sooner is the 400 Days. Put it in context for folks.
Totally. So 400 Days is a standalone DLC episode that's kind of aiming to bridge Season 1 and Season 2 together. So it's a single episode. It's 5 short stories. So we have 5 new protagonists. This is not sort of a continuation of the story of Season 1. We wanted to do something different, something that sort of deserved to live on its own. So it's 5 completely new protagonists. We wanted to do an experiment in non-linear storytelling. So these 5 chapters, as you can tell from the name, 400 Days, take place at different periods over the first 400 days of the zombie apocalypse.
Okay. And so kicks off at day 1.
Day 2, I think, is the first.
Day 2.
So it's just sort of kicking off, but nobody knows really what's going on, you know?
Yeah, something is uneasy,
Yeah.
something's happening,
There's
but...
a lot of, like, cops going by, they don't really know why, you know?
All right, well, we got some footage to take a look at here, so we're presumably going to meet one of the characters? Or
So we're going to
get some glimpses of them?
I'm not sure if we're going to see. This is Vince here. This is actually the chapter we're showing off in our Telltale E3 booth here.
Okay.
And Vince's story starts on day 2 of the zombie apocalypse. So he's committed a crime. He's on a prison bus, and he's stuck in traffic, and no one really knows why. I mean, we know why. We can probably guess why. But nobody in the bus sort of knows what's going on. And these guys are chained.
Sort of parallel to the way Lee's story kicks off.
Similar,
in The Walking Dead.
But it sort of unfolds very differently. So these guys are sort of chained to each other. You're chained to a couple other convicts, and there's nothing to do but talk. But you're in sort of Georgia summer, which is like 110 degrees, in this giant sort of like oven. So it turns into like a sweat lodge, and everyone's sort of, mood goes through the roof. And classic Walking Dead Telltale style, like, horrible things happen.
Yeah.
And you have to make some really difficult choices.
Difficult choices, horrible things happen. That's you guys' bread and butter, but also it's, throughout the whole Season 1 was this emotional bond between Lee and Clementine.
Yeah.
In this sort of episodic, we're at day 41 Wyatt. This is sort of a different situation. You guys aren't telling a long-form story here. So what is the new format these short stories free you up to do? What did you find really engaging about this format?
So what we think is really interesting about the Walking Dead universe is that it brings people together that might never ever meet or cross paths or sort of leave marks for each other to find.
Yep.
A lot of the story takes place sort of centered around this truck stop, this physical location, and we almost tell a story of this location throughout 400 days. So you can sort of see it day 2, it's still sort of nice, people are kind of gassing up. Then as it goes further and further into zombie apocalypse, it might get sort of reinforced as people start moving in and like trying to live their lives there. Maybe that sort of falls apart. So you see the sort of like changes in this environment as it goes along. And these characters will definitely sort of like weave in and out of each other's stories in interesting ways. So I should mention, you can play these chapters in any order you want.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you can play the last one first, the first one last.
Which must mean that you guys have designed it to sort of be experienced in that disjointed way, but in that also there are connections that you'll appreciate no matter what order you play it.
Absolutely. We wanted to do an experiment to see how this would work. We think it's going to be really successful. It's sort of Pulp Fiction-y almost, you might say, where the story, you're getting it from a whole bunch of different angles, and depending on which order you play them in, they might intertwine in interesting ways. The characters might cross each other. You might look out a window and go, oh, I recognize those characters from a different chapter. Or you might say, oh, now that's why that happened. I saw from the other side of it, or you leave a mark on the world, and someone might cross past it, and you go, oh, that's why that looks like that. Mm-hmm. So,
oh man, that image you painted of looking out and seeing, oh, I recognize those characters, just made me think you guys are totally going to make us like kill ourselves, aren't you? Like
I can't say. I don't want to spoil
of course,
anything.
no way. That would be a massive spoiler. But that seems like the
There are
kind of thing you
definitely-
would do.
Well, in each episode of the first season of The Walking Dead, we try to have the sort of stat screen at the end, and you have those like 5 big choices.
Yep.
And you have 5 big choices, and somehow 5 chapters. So we got like a big choice per chapter, maybe.
No, there's just one chapter that's a doozy.
It's just like 5.
Everything else is real
every
mellow.
3 minutes is a crazy choice, and then nothing else. Yeah.
Well, speaking of choices, I was talking to Jess McDonald, GameSpot Australia video journalist, and she got a chance to check out the game as well. And she mentioned that this doesn't just bridge the gap between season 1 and 2, but also draws from season 1.
Definitely.
If you've completed episodes, some of your decisions there will inform.
It definitely will.
400
so
days.
You're absolutely right. So if you have your save games from season 1, 400 days will recognize the choices that you've made, and your choices from season 1 will go into 400 days. And actually, I should add is that your choices in 400 days will go into season 2 as well.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's all connected.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh man! All right, folks are interested. They want to know. I have to sift through the lamenting about where Clementine is and all these questions. Bureau Island wondering if it will make him cry like the original season did.
I really hope so. We recognize that we're not going to be able to tell, as you said, the long-form story because we're doing a 15 to 20-minute stories, 5 of them. So
Yeah.
we just want to give you really interesting and difficult choices in the moment. We really want to make sure those choices are really interesting in the moment. And we hope that you guys cry in a good way.
We hope you cry. The Telltale Games
Put
motto.
in a good way. Make sure that's the
Dot,
whole
dot, dot,
thing.
in a good way. All right. Thingom Sinks. It's difficult to read, bro, or lady. I don't know. Anyways, wondering about if you hadn't played episodes 1 through 5, if you don't have a lot of experience, or maybe only played a few episodes, is 400 days going to be accessible? Are you going to be able to understand what's going on?
It is, but we definitely recommend you playing season 1 first. For technical reasons, you have to own at least episode 1 of season 1, just because it is a DLC and just technically the way they all sort of link up together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you have to own at least that. You don't have to have played season 1 first, but because of the way the story is told, we absolutely recommend playing season 1 and then 400 days. And then when season 2 comes out, play them then season 2. But there's nothing saying you can't just play like two episodes of season 1 and then hop into 400 days if that's what you want to do.
All right. Now, you said because of the way the story is told, which, you may be talking about narrative structure, but made me think of gameplay structure. And, a lot of the Walking Dead gameplay is dialogue choices.
Sure.
It's also contextual events where you're prompted to, hit buttons in a timely fashion. Are you sticking with that kind of core gameplay
We have
approach?
a lot of that stuff. I mean, Telltale's bread and butter is interesting dialogue. So you're definitely going to get to play your character the way you want to play him. Like something people really loved about playing as Lee Everett is I get to play my Lee the way I want to play him. So we definitely stuck to that, which I think is really important to The Walking Dead. And we're going to stick to this sort of, if you've played season 1, you'll understand season for 400 days. But we're going to also try and do a few new mechanics here and there. You might see a new way to interact with people and objects here and there that we're just trying to experiment. And I think 400 Days is almost like our art house project. Like we really wanted to experiment. Everyone at Telltale is working super hard on making this thing really stand alone and really try new interesting things. Like if this non-linear storytelling thing works out, maybe we'll do it again in the future.
Bogaba, curious to know how much of an effect will those choices in 400 Days how will that differ the endings? Will you have wildly different scenarios where people are going into season 2 on different footings, or
That's a really good question. I don't think we're quite ready to announce anything comparing 400 Days to season 2 just yet.
Sure.
The choices you make in 400 Days will definitely play into season 2, but we're just too early to talk about season 2 at this point, unfortunately.
That's quite all right. You guys are here with 400 Days, and that's over a year. You're talking about getting
I think
deep
it's like
into
a year and a month or something like that. Yeah, each chapter really has its own feel and look, and the world feels like it's moved through an entire year of this. In the comics, in the Walking Dead comic, it takes them many years, but they start to sort of find groups and sort of try and live their life, and not just living around a campfire all the time. So we wanted to make it feel like, people are acting the way people would act 2 months into a zombie apocalypse, sort of getting it, but still sort of not really knowing what to do.
Now, The Walking Dead, of course, has been a cross-media sensation in the past few years. Of course, your game, other games, the TV show, and of course the original comic. Have you guys, are you drawing inspiration from other people's interpretation of The Walking Dead, or from the original source material, even from other movies? You mentioned Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, that's a great question. We're all huge fans of all of the Walking Dead stuff. We watch the show, we read the comics, so it's impossible to sort of keep yourself in a bubble when you're absorbing such awesome, zombie stories. But I don't think we consciously go, oh, that was cool, let's do that, because we really want to give you guys something new and fresh. We don't want to just retread old ground. That's why we didn't do the Rick Grimes story for the third time, because we get it. We know Rick Grimes' story. We know what's going to happen.
We get it, Rick. Your life's
no, not even.
terrible.
I
No,
love
I'm just
Rick's
kidding.
story. Rick's awesome. But
is,
you get to the prison, let's say, spoilers, and you know what he's going to do. So if we were trying to give you interesting choices, you'd be like, I'm just going to pick the one that Rick already did. So that's why we want to go for the look and feel and the emotional tonal stuff that The Walking Dead, the other media does, and the comic does so well and the show does so well, but give you something fresh that you can really sort of imprint yourself on the story.
And I think that's one of the real strengths about The Walking Dead, and the reason it's seen such success is, it creates this world in which any story, the threat of this collapse of civilization and the threats of the zombies are these dramatic elements that, any story, any character can fit into it, and you can just tell so many different experiences of what happens when civilization just goes to crap.
Absolutely. That's why we wanted to do 400 Days, is that there's so many other people that are doing crazy things and having interesting stories besides the group that we've seen in Season 1. Obviously, we love the group in Season 1 and Lee and Clementine and everything, but there's so much more. There are many other characters out there to fall in love with, and we want to give you a taste of that,
Characters to fall in love with and also
rend your
feel
heart.
other ways about, too. I mean, not everyone is a sympathetic person.
No, absolutely not.
When
But like I said, you'll meet
come and knock
interesting characters, and yeah, I don't want to say too much, but you might see some familiar faces in 400 Days from Season 1. I won't say any more than that. I want you to go out and play it, but I'll definitely say that.
Yep, I think, and you just unleashed another. We'll probably have unleashed another chorus of Clementine from the folks online.
Official Telltale shrug, I guess.
Got that down. Do you guys like pre-E3 workshop that?
They worked me through it. Yeah.
It's an important tool.
Absolutely.
All right, Harrison, The Walking Dead 400 Days DLC comes after Season 1 and will feed into the eventual Season 2.
Yes.
But when are people going to be able to download 400 Days, and where are they going to be able to get it?
All the platforms that Season 1 is currently on will be available on all of them. It'll be out, we're aiming for July, so pretty soon.
Okay.
We're also doing a bundle on the PS Vita. We're bringing The Walking Dead to the PS Vita. We're going to have a bundle which is 400 Days, plus all of Season 1, plus some additional bonus content just for the PS Vita.
Nice.
And that bundle is going to be out in August.
Great.
Yeah.
And that'll be the first time it'll be available on Vita?
I believe so, yeah.
You really think I'm going to let you get away without the platform rundown? You got Vita, Xbox 360, PSN,
Right.
PC.
Yep.
iOS?
iOS, yep.
Is that...
I think that's it.
Did I get
Yeah, Xbox, PlayStation, PSN, iOS, PS Vita, PC. I think that's it.
I think we got it
I
covered.
think that's it, yeah.
You and me combined, Harrison.
Good job.
We could survive
Teamwork.
the zombie apocalypse, a.k.a. the waning hours of E3 2013.
It does feel that way.
It is. Harrison, thank you so much for coming
Absolutely,
on stage.
my
The Walking
pleasure.
Dead 400 Days available this July, folks. We're going to go away right now, but we're right back with our final demo of the day. You saw it at the Sony press conference on Monday. It's Transistor. It's gorgeous, intriguing. You won't want to miss it.